This is ITV News with Steve Scott.
Good afternoon. The Home Secretary has ordered a public inquiry into undercover policing after evidence has emerged that detectives spied on the family of the murdered teenager Stephen Lawrence. Theresa May described the revelations as profoundly shocking. A report into the murder also found that one of the detectives at the heart of the investigation had links to the gangster father of one of Stephen's killers. Today, Stephen's mother, Doreen Lawrence, told ITV News she wasn't surprised by the findings. Martha Fairley reports.
It is 21 years since the murder of Stephen Lawrence at a bus stop in southeast London, but a major report into claims of police corruption in the original murder investigation has today uncovered what the Home Secretary described as in its totality deeply troubling. The report by Mark Ellison QC says there's intelligence to suspect one of the detectives on the Stephen Lawrence case, former Detective Sergeant John Davidson, acted corruptly. He also found an undercover officer referred to as N81 was inserted as a spy into the Lawrence family camp during the original Macpherson inquiry following Stephen's death. Mass shredding of key evidence of corruption within the Metropolitan Police Service in 2003 means further relevant material cannot be found or has been destroyed. And Mark Ellison says he's unable to reject claims by former police officer Peter Francis that he was tasked with smearing the Lawrence family. Stephen's mother says the report comes as no surprise to her.
I'm really disgusted about that. I'm really disgusted. And also it comes from quite high up, so it's not just, lower rank officers, a senior officer who actually set out to do that against us as a family. And why? The question would be, why would you want to do that?
The report also raises concerns over the SDS, an undercover unit of the Met Special Branch that operated for 40 years to infiltrate violent protest groups. The Home Secretary told the Commons there'll be a further review to investigate any possible miscarriages of justice and a public inquiry.
Given the gravity of what has now been uncovered, I have decided that a public inquiry, led by a judge, is necessary to investigate undercover policing and the operation of the SDS.
And she also plans to bring forward a new offence of police corruption. Martha Fairley, ITV News.
Well, let's speak to our UK editor Lucy Manning, who joins me from our Westminster studio. Lucy, two issues here. First, the revelation that undercover officers infiltrated close associates of the Lawrence family, and also the question of corrupt officers too.
Well, that's right. That is really the issue that is upsetting the Lawrence family. I have just interviewed Doreen Lawrence and her first reaction to what the Home Secretary announced today. You saw part of that interview in the piece earlier, but what she goes on to say is just how disgraceful and disgusting it is that there was this spy in the heart of the Lawrence family. Here she says she was a grieving mother. She only wanted to help the Met Police try and find her son's killers, and yet they were spying on her and passing information back to then be used later on in the inquiry. So she has a real issue with that. She told me that she would like to see resignations at the Met if anyone was involved in that and is still at the Met, and she no longer, well, she hasn't trusted the Met for a long time, but I asked her whether now, after this report, black people in the UK could trust the Metropolitan Police, and she said that no, she didn't think so.
And that's absolutely the point, isn't it, Lucy? 21 years after Stephen Lawrence's murder, and still it's causing ramifications.
Well, that's absolutely right. We have revelation after frankly disgusting revelation. Doreen Lawrence met with the Home Secretary this morning. She said even the Home Secretary looked visibly shocked by what this report showed. And it really is down to the dedication of Doreen Lawrence that all this has come out. And she still believes that there is more to come out. And frankly, this is a very difficult and damning report for the Metropolitan Police, and the Home Secretary talking about possible other miscarriages of justice given what happened with undercover policing. So I think this story still has some way to go.
OK, Lucy, in Westminster, thank you very much. MPs